All right. So I got my 3 roommates here, and I'm just gonna talk to them about poverty in the U.S. It's one of the leading social problems in the U.S. Let me introduce y'all. I got Yannick.
Hi, Luis.
Nick?
Johnson.
So first question I got for you, Yannick. What is your definition of poverty?
I mean, my definition of poverty would be if you don't have enough money to provide food on a daily basis or like buy essentials to survive.
Okay. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I'd probably say that, if you don't have enough income or don't make enough money to provide for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Same with you.
You have a roof to live under and you don't have enough money for food and essential stuff.
Okay, great stuff. That's pretty much overall definition of it. Question 2, how does poverty make you feel? So how do you feel about knowing that there are people living under tents? There's people that wake up in the morning and don't know what their next meal is gonna be. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel bad, but also I'm also happy that I'm not in that situation.
Cool. What about you?
I mean, it's sad. I wish that wasn't a thing. I don't necessarily know how I could stop that, but I wish it didn't exist.
Yeah. What about you?
I feel it's hard because we know that happens and we still don't do anything about it,
Yeah.
It's tough to think about that.
Okay. Nice. Okay, in most poor countries, many get their survival materials from large landfills. So earlier, I was watching a video in Brazil. They have like a village of 35,000, and the only place where some of those people are able to get food and scraps and things to like just put in their house is this big ass like trash dump. Like it was crazy watching that. Like when Corona came, they got fired from their jobs, like from the inner city, and they moved out into these sanctions. And there's like 35,000 people out there, and the trash dumps just come to this large landfill. They just dump shit out there, and they be picking it up. How you feel about that?
That's terrible. I mean, who would want to live their life like that? It's awful.
Could you imagine living like that?
I couldn't, especially growing up in like under normal circumstances. I'd say, couldn't imagine that.
In 2021, the projected poverty rate will be 13.7. I think in 2015 it was 15.1. So this means that about 1 in 7 Americans are severely poor and don't have the means to live. How does this make you feel?
I mean, that's way more than I thought.
Yeah. I didn't expect it to be that much.
Yeah. Where do you think the poorest and richest states are?
Poorest?
Oh,
The richest is probably, I don't know.
New York, California.
I'd say the poorest is South Carolina.
The poorest?
Yeah, is that right?
Mm-hmm. The South. Basically, the whole South and the U.S. East Coast is the more like richer population.
Yeah.
Like more like northeast.
All right. So who do you think is the poorest race?
Probably Native Americans.
Or Hispanic.
Or I would say Native Americans to be honest. I don't know.
All right. So the statistics are 18.8% for blacks, 15.7% for Hispanics / any race, and then 7.3 for Asians and 7.3 for whites too. That was in the 2019 study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say 15%?
Yeah.
For blacks?
Yeah, 18.8% for blacks and 15.7 for
that's a lot.
Hispanics. Yeah. I mean, but in the U.S., the statistic is that you would think it's more, how do I say it, African Americans that are poor, but it's really more whites. Just because it's more of y'all. Who do you think is the poorest by age and gender?
I'd say old people, to be honest. Like
You mean
60
age?
plus.
60 plus?
Yeah.
I'd
That's
say
pretty good,
Really? Okay, that was that one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of beds that are like really poor now.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of poor beds.
What age is y'all think? He said 60.
I was thinking like 50.
50.
Like
Yeah, I said like
45,
55 plus.
50. Yeah, that's right. It's usually 75-year-old males.
Really?
The poorest, yeah.
That's tough.
Do you think poor people just lack the effort to work, or that they're not really getting hired for jobs?
I feel like once you get there, it's like really tough to go up the ladder, because
I think it's both. It depends.
yeah,
I
there's
mean, it's
100%.
individual people, you know. I would
So
say.
do you think that people get in positions for jobs and can't increase their pay in that job? They just get stuck in that same field, and the boss doesn't give them a pay rate. I mean, an increase in pay.
In face different scenarios, like both things can happen.
Yeah. So you're not
Exactly.
stuck on the scenario that poor people they're just not working, they're just lazy. That's not really, you don't really think that.
I think it is also a point.
And I feel like there's also like a drug problem as well. Like a lot of people are on the borderline, like have the drug abuse, and that makes them like
Yeah.
have to.
That's one thing about it. So one thing about with poor people, poverty, it tends to come with a lot of bad stuff. So adults who were poor in their early childhood tend to have completed 2 or fewer years of schooling. They have incomes that were less than half of those earned by adults who had wealthier childhoods. Probably received $826 more annually in food stamps. As the world continues to modernize, poor people will be left behind as the rich get richer. Do you think this shows how corrupt systems may be? Like in nations, do you think that the biggest capital is feeding off?
I mean, that's like
Forsaken
it's like a
river.
very slippery slope because like socialism is very bad. So I don't think we should be giving money from the rich to the poor, but I think there should be programs that kind of ease the poverty line.
But I think it's actually like the big companies definitely take advantage of the smaller portions of the population, and also, I don't know, I think one way to get rid of it might be like raise taxes.
Yeah. The statistics are that the shoemakers in Asia that make the shoes for Nike are usually women around 17 to 30 years of age. The average worker produces 4.3 pairs of shoes a day and only gets a minimum wage of $2.50 in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And the daily livable wage in Indonesia is $4 to $4.50. And Nike doesn't even give them enough to live throughout the day. So you know that a usual, well no, most people don't know this. A pair of Nikes costs about $5 in labor and material to make. So like LeBron's, the Kobe's, whatever you want to see. Philip Knight, the CEO of Nike, is the 6th richest man in America. He is worth $5 billion. A pair of Nikes costs you usually over $100 to buy. Right? So for poor people, what do you think are some of the key components that are likely to have, that they are likely to have? Like, do you think that poor people have more mental issues? Do you think it's harder for them with including family, divorce, social problems?
I actually don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think it makes?
I don't think they have like social problems. Maybe more like maybe mental health. I can see that, but not like within the family or so. I don't think so.
So children growing up in poverty are less likely to graduate high school or go to college, and they are more likely to commit street crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I can see that.
Poor people are more likely to have several kinds of health problems, and poor people are more likely to have several kinds of family problems, including divorce and family conflict. So, do y'all believe that the income inequality in the U.S. increases the crime rate?
The poverty rate increases the crime rate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah.
I mean, if you don't have enough to live, you're gonna commit crime. Like, I feel like everyone would, to be honest. If you don't have enough to eat, it's gonna steal it, right?
You gotta find other ways to get it.
Thank you everybody for watching. This video was pretty easy to put together. Sat down with a couple of my friends. Their name will be in the credits. And my social problem again was poverty. So I sat down, asked them a couple questions about poverty, gave them some facts about poverty that they might have knew or might not know. And they gave me their honest feedback. So it was pretty easy to get done, pretty easy to do. My feedback from this, or my experience on this, is just, it was pretty enlightening to see, because all of us are from different countries. Well, me and Nick are from the United States, but I think Yannick is from Germany, and Gonzo is from Germany too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it was just cool to see their perspectives on the topic. You know, how were they gonna speak in U.S. terms because they've been in the U.S., or were they gonna talk about how Germany's capital and poverty may be? So it was cool to see that and to go through that. So I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Peace.